Lance and Mike Triggers on Money 105.5.
We are live. 105.5 Money 105.
Yep, in the now with Mike Triggers and Brandon Hines. Woo! How's everybody out there this morning? Hope not too much traffic.
You know, there was a little accident today on my way in, but it seemed like they've been really good lately. I've been watching them clean the stuff up like quick, man. Before, I'd say like an accident would shut a freeway down for an hour and a half easily. Now, this morning I saw one. It was pretty bad, and it looked like it just happened. They were already pulling it off the road and kind of moving it to the side. So, commence to all those hats off to all the firefighters and the paramedics and the police that got all that cleaned up, because traffic is not good.
No.
It triggers so much stuff in people.
That it does.
Which kind of leads us in today, right? It's
Yeah.
like today we're going to be talking a lot about mindset and belief structure and that oh so fun critter brain, also known as the reptile brain.
Yeah, we're going to go talk about self-sabotaging, right? A lot of success comes from, folks that hit that peak, but then they self-sabotage it, and then it drops, and then they repeat again. And there's this process that folks and business owners and sales and so on go through. And it's because of this internal belief. You know, you are where you are today because of what you think as of that moment, right? So, or what you thought, and this ripple effect starts to happen. And it's just folks get into this self-sabotaging situation. And so today we're going to be talking about that. We have a special guest that we'll bring on here in a little while.
Dr. Gruder.
Yeah, he's been coined as the America's integrity expert, right? But he talks about the allergies of self-sabotaging as an entrepreneur or business. And so we're going to have him on later on after break. But let's talk about beliefs, limiting beliefs.
Yeah, so in my structure, my training, everything that I've learned in the last decade, I've learned one big, huge piece. You are every age you've ever been. This is all collective. So your 3-year-old's in there, your 6-month-old, the womb, all the way to your 13-year-old. All these things in your life, like Mike said earlier, everything that you've ever done, every single piece of it makes you who you are today. And certain belief structures are set in along the way. And the subconscious mind adapts them and puts a system in place to protect you. That's what the reptile brain, the critter brain does. It's fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
So these belief structures that are set in your life are all there for an intended positive outcome. But you could have outgrown that outcome. Like there could be like afraid of the beeping in the crosswalk because you might get hit by a car, and that holds on to you forever. You're really scared and waiting for that beep to say go. But then by the time you're 10 years old, you realize to look at the light and walk across, so that beep doesn't scare you anymore. But sometimes that pattern recreates when you see the crosswalk, you're looking for that beep.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those patterns that belief systems are set into place all day long, especially from that 3-year-old pattern all the way to that 7-year-old, where survival and identity are huge in your life at that moment. So your critter brain and your reptile brain learns how to survive certain things, and it builds belief structures around them. And you as an adult just have to find out which one of those ones are still blocking you, which one of them are causing problems in your life that no longer suit you at the age you are today.
Yeah, as we get into the subconscious mind, it's such a powerful tool to your lifestyle, your life, and everything. And people don't realize that how much information the subconscious picks up, and even in the words you say and what you say. If you believe you're going to be successful and you say you're going to be successful, your subconscious is going to pick that up and believe it as well, right? So, but if you say that, I'm not going to close this deal, or you have any type of self-doubt, your subconscious mind is putting that in play, and the ripple effect starts to take place, right? So, folks,
words become.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So you think it, yes. Either way, you're right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're telling your mind, and it thinks it's right every single time, whether it's good or bad. You're programming that subconscious mind, and that's why I believe in a lot of personal development, constantly listening to personal development, because I know even if I'm working subconsciously, my mind's picking things up, right? And even my drive in, I have affirmations that I do every morning, and so I'm always programming my mind subconsciously. And I think that's for a lot of people that, they need to get in the habit of feeding not just the mind, but feed the subconscious mind.
Yeah, and then feed the body. The mind is very tricky. The ego gets in the way, worrying about the past, worrying about the future. Really start focusing on what your body wants. Like, what does my body want to feel today? Do I want to let traffic bother me? Do I want to stress over the next sale that's coming in?
Yeah.
Do I want to try to figure out my marketing and then just stress on it all day? No. Find out how your body wants to feel and adapt to that in the now.
Well, I think that's important because you attach that emotion to the feeling of what you're, the thought that you're thinking. When you attach a high energy, excited emotion to the thought, then most likely you're going to actually achieve that because your body's feeling it, right?
Yeah.
As you were saying. So the feeling attaching that. So if you're stressed or worried about your job or your next income or the next deal closing, well, guess what? You're putting that stress out there, and it's going to come to fruition where it's not going to happen, or something is going to happen.
You're actually experiencing it right then and there. You're experiencing it in the now. So you've got to look at things and just realize, like, how do I want to feel on a daily basis? And my thing with affirmations, you can use the same ones over and over again if they excite you. Mm-hmm. If they drum up that drive inside of you, then use those ones. If not, get new ones. Every week, get a new set that makes you happier and happier.
Sure.
And say them. We've all seen that YouTube video with the little 3-year-old up in the mirror going, "You're amazing. You're smart. You have pretty hair. You're going to be so cool today."
Yeah.
And she's up there just going off in the mirror, but she's feeling it. You could tell.
And what's so cool is she's got a visual,
Yeah.
right? Because she sees herself and she's feeling the excitement, which then guess what? The subconscious mind picks that up and it holds onto that image. And so in any doubt, you can always refer back to that image. I know, like for me, when I was learning public speaking, right? My subconscious mind, I didn't know anything about speaking, and I had to learn to be better and better and better. So I used to line up on the couch all my kids' toys like Elmo and all these, right? And I would totally do presentations to them. But you know what was interesting is when I got on stage.
Boy, if Sesame Street could get a hold of that.
Oh man, totally, right? When I got on stage, I would refer back to that image and how it felt because they were all smiling at me. I had no objection, and it calmed me and helped me in my presentations and not having that nervous energy.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I definitely went through a lot of training for speaking because I wasn't a traditionally trained speaker, right? I was natural from the heart.
Yeah.
So I had to learn the audience reaction and learn how to make myself do that. But all of this comes down to third-party observation, right?
Yeah.
And the worst thing about worrying and focusing on the bad stuff is that what you focus on will become. What you observe for will happen. You want to stay out of that realm and live in the now and let your mind just read your body and know what you want. You can have anything you want in life if you're willing to take the work to change the feelings. So when we come back, Dr. Gruder is going to be on with us, and it's going to be an amazing show today. So after the break, we can't wait to have you guys back.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this broadcast with Mike Driggers, Brandon Heights on In the Now on 105.5 Money Talk Radio. What a great conversation about mindset. I love mindset stuff.
Yeah, mindset is key. I mean, everything, I'd say literally 85% of the questions that come into AskBrandonNow.com are about mindset and blockage and how the critter brain is actually interfering with life for them.
Yeah, it's critical. And in business, and that's kind of one of our topics today, and with our special guest, and again, he's been coined in the industry as the America's Integrity Expert, America's Integrity Expert, and I'm curious to know what that looks like. But, you know, our topic today I'm excited about is basically self-sabotaging, you know, these allergies towards money, power, and social responsibility as an entrepreneur. And so we're going to have that conversation today with Dr. Gruder, who's the president of the Integrity Culture System. He's a leadership psychologist and a culture architect, you know, and best-selling author, and just an amazing gentleman. When depth of knowledge, when you get into conversations, I've had many conversations with David, and he's just an amazing gentleman, and you know, just his foresight on things. And so, David, are you out there?
I I am out here, and I'm delighted to be with you, Brandon and Mike.
Well, thank you, and it's a great honor to have you on here. You know, I've been following you for years. We've had conversations many times, and you know, it's a great opportunity to get you on the show with us today. And so, let's talk about self-sabotaging and this allergies. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, a lot of people, especially people who value social responsibility, and particularly entrepreneurs and leaders who value social responsibility, they tend, in my experience, to have allergies to money and power. And the allergies are really caused by one of the hidden polarizations in society, what hidden meaning not talked about as much as political polarization, for example, is. And that's the polarization between the group of people who insist that in order to be profitable or in order to be successful as a leader, you have to be willing to sacrifice self-integrity and cherished relationships and life balance and social responsibility, whereas the other group insists that in order to remain in personal integrity and have life balance and cherished relationships not be damaged and to have social responsibility, you have to give up profitability.
That's interesting. So go explain that a little bit more.
Well, so here we have these two groups that are basically fighting against each other, and it leads to a kind of feeling among many social entrepreneurs and socially responsible leaders that they have to be kind of ashamed or reluctant about exercising power or having money. And this is because of that old saw, it's ridiculous, power is corrupt and money is evil. Well, yes, power can corrupt when we don't have, as you guys were talking about, the kind of mindset that enables power to be utilized effectively and ethically, and money is evil when money is used to manipulate and control and based on a notion of scarcity rather than abundance. But what power really is impact effectiveness. That's all that power really is being able to be effective with our impact. And all that money is portions of our wealth in a converted form that cycles love.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, you're nailing it. Power is corrupt and money is evil is a limiting belief that gets stuck in so many people, and most of the time have like a zero-sum state of mind as well. So just looking at that whole yin and yang, there is some kind of intended and positive outcome belief system that's protecting you from something like that. And that's something that happens in people's lives when they experience something or they're taught something, or even a family entanglement is passed down that stops them from believing that money is just energy. And power is energy. You can shift it which way you want to go.
Exactly. And how many people do you think, or what percentage of the population are actually taught that in their families or in their educational system or even by the media? What percentage of people actually realize this?
Right. I'm sure it's...
Yeah, and how many parents are actually aware of the time when they said, oh, money is evil, and the kid was like thinking, oh my gosh, money's evil? I thought I wanted to earn more of it. And those little things are what set these little beliefs in. And people,
or the parents who say the only way you can be happy is by making lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
Right. So if they don't, then they're in this sabotaging mode of destruction because that's their belief level. They were brought up that way, and subconsciously it's affected their lives because of this input.
Absolutely, and it's a societal spell. I really don't blame parents for that because they come by their limiting beliefs honestly as well.
Yeah, it's all passed down. And one of my mentors in mind work basically told me as a parent, no matter what you do, something is going to mess up your kids. So just do the best you can and be the person that you want them to become. And then they can figure it out on their own. They're going to need a coach somewhere along the line somewhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's those life experiences that kids and adults don't know how to digest, don't know how to utilize in ways that that help us expand our capacity to love that are the fuel for our self-evolution. They're not horrible disasters. They are the fuel that evolves us if we know how to let those experiences become that.
So I have this question here that, what is self-sovereignty, and what skills does it require, and what difference does it make for entrepreneurs and leaders with this mindset?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a mouthful, and I'll condense my response because of our time limits in this interview. Self-sovereignty is really the foundation of entrepreneurial leadership and healthy company culture because it frees us from feeling like victims of circumstance, people, government, and society instead of subconsciously undermining profitability because of our power allergies. And what self-sovereignty really requires is a blend of self-responsibility plus what I refer to as reptile brain management, which you referred to a little earlier in a different way, psychologically mature boundaries, and collaborative accountability. And what ethical leadership is, entrepreneurial leadership, is an ultimate expression of self-sovereignty because it inspires, empowers, and facilitates others toward love through whatever our unique calling or whatever our unique business happens to be.
Yes. And that's the thing I always look at, too, is that I am going to try to just show my heart and let as much of it out as possible. Because there's always that, I'm going to be better. Like one of my mentors that I had a chance to work with for a lot, he always said, I'd rather be honest, cheesy, and rich than dull and boring and broke. And I always looked at him like, that's actually a pretty crazy statement to make, but he was telling the truth. Like, I'd rather have you just see who I am, know that my whole life is about family and love and sharing my gift. And then if you like me, if you like my vibe, you become part of my tribe.
Yep.
If you don't, then more power to you. I help you on your journey. Have a good day. And just learning that in business is great.
Well, and I think in today's world, transparency is so important, especially because of all the social platforms and the ability to search and things like that. As a leader in business, you really have to, and I know you talked about this, about Dr. Gruder, about social change and how it's affecting the way we do business and things of that nature, and just having that transparency. What are some things that folks can do to help reprogram or give better direction to what they do?
Well, for people in business or in entrepreneurship, I think one of the really important things is to start to challenge our definitions of money and capitalism and greed, because we've got all of that stuff totally screwy. It's just wrong. And to challenge our notions of scarcity that cause us to default to coercion, manipulation, or compromise rather than to collaborate. And the best sustainable financial well-being is around collaboration, even with selling. If I expand on what you were saying a moment ago of if you like my vibe, become part of my tribe. Well, ethical selling is about helping the right people say yes and the wrong people say no.
Yeah, it's filtering them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of times people get into this in the sales mode of desperation, like they need to close this deal. They're getting pressure from their bosses or their
my closing ratio is going to suffer.
Yeah, or things like that. And so then they start adjusting their integrity or things to make things happen, or giving away too much when they need to have more value to what they offer. I think that's a pretty powerful statement. So I know that there's different energies, there's the masculine and the feminine energies when it comes to this type of stuff, and, the way that the mind works, and how does this affect as a business person or entrepreneur?
Oh, that's such a great question, because as all of us are quite aware, we've got a lot of tension now around men and women, and men violating women or allegedly violating women or actually violating women, etc. And I think that we miss the forest for the trees if all we focus on is the violation. We have to focus on that, and we have to get that cleared up and eliminated. No question about it. But if that's all we focus on, then we miss the golden opportunity to step into elevated consciousness around masculine and feminine energies because, and I'll say what I mean by that in a moment, but the reason it's important is because when we do this, it enables us to simply stop violating each other. We don't have the drive or the interest or the need to violate each other. And what masculine energy is about is, in the healthy version, it's about challenging and decisiveness, whereas in the dysfunctional version, it's about violation and coercion. And what the healthy feminine, what divine feminine energy is about nurturance and collaboration, whereas in its dysfunctional form, it's about indulgence and entitlement. And once we understand that men and women carry both masculine and feminine energy inside us, and that it's about elevating our masculine and feminine energy so that we have fluency with being challenging and decisive when that's what's called for, and fluency with being nurturing and collaborative when that's what's called for, that's how we come together and really harvest gifts from the Me Too kind of awareness that's been emerging over the past few months.
Yeah.
I think when you those energies, how, I guess the question I have is, how does that affect, so these different types of energies, like you said, we both carry male and female, how does it affect what, the outcome is to your business, or the self-sabotaging, as we've been talking in the subconscious mind?
Right. Well, it's kind of like being really right-handed or being really left-handed. If you need to use your right hand and you're very deeply left-handed, your right hand's not going to work really well, etc. And so this is about not relying only on being nurturing or collaborative, or only on being challenging and decisive, but about building our non-dominant hand, if you will, building whichever of those two energies, whether it's challenging and decisive or whether it's nurturing and collaborative, building whichever of those two energies is the weaker one in us so that we can right match our response to the need, responses by us, executives, implementers in our business, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation along with Money Shadow Mastery. I want to talk about that and how that affects. So in the Now with Mike Driggers and Brandon Heights on Money 105.5.
Dr. Gruder.
We're live. And we are back. Wow.
Part of us is.
Part of the mind.
Part of my mind still going over here on the side, working on the left side of my brain.
The subconscious was just drilling on all that great gold nuggets Dr. David Gruder was laying out there during the break. I was thinking about some of the stuff. And so, David, welcome back to the show here in the Now with Mike Driggers, Brandon Heights. And when we left, we were talking about the feminine energy and the masculine energy, which I thought was really, really good, and how, the different types of energies, because we carry both in us, and it self-sabotages what we do. Give some examples of where that, as you were explaining how these work
right
together, and the right hand and the
hand.
left hand, and kind of give some examples of what you were referring to for our
Sure.
audience.
Sure. Well, when we are in an entrepreneurial business or when we're in a leadership role, we're constantly faced with having to make decisions about how to move forward and whether to say yes or no to opportunities that come our way, and how we're going to deal with unexpected turns in the road that we were hoping might not happen, and things like that. And it's really crucial that we know when to draw out the people around us in order to get their input and in order to activate them into collaborative problem solving, versus when we have gotten enough information or they've made enough recommendations so that it's time for us to be decisive and make our decisions. We have to know when it's time to nurture people, because they are needing some encouragement or validation, and when to challenge them because they're not being accountable. And these are crucial, because when we aren't doing all of these things, or when we're doing them in the wrong moments, if we're being challenging when nurturing is needed, then we demotivate people. When we're being nurturing when people need to be challenged, they develop a sense of entitlement. When we're being collaborative, when we need to be decisive, moments of opportunity pass us by before we've decided to green light our business on moving forward with them. So this is kind of what I'm meaning about us needing both the masculine energy and the feminine energy in right relationship with each other and right matched to the need.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I totally agree with the fact that you've got to find your weaknesses in these areas and start exercising them.
Yeah.
Even if it means reaching out to a third-party coach or a mentor or grabbing a good book and really fine-tuning. Like, I've become this kind of like, I guess you call it the fault junkie. I like finding out what's wrong with me. And it's weird because I go to these courses down in Marin during neuroscience with a couple of really good mentors down there. And I find something crazy about myself almost every month. And then once I know it, I start working on it and things just get better. So when you're saying exercise it, like find that yin and yang between the feminine and the masculine energy, and where you are not bringing out the best of you, you need to work on it. So if you're always leading more feminine or you're always leading more masculine, then start working on the feminine side and listening to people and having that empathy. And it's not even the same too. Like, so there's a lot of females that run around with a masculine side brain. There's a lot of males that run dominantly feminine side.
Yeah.
Neither one is wrong for you, but can you exercise them both to play at a level playing field?
Yeah, I think that's critical to feed the weakness to where now just think how much better you're going to be at what you do and eliminating some of this self-sabotage.
Yeah, so I like knowing where my faults are so I can work on them.
Yeah.
But what's really got me going, and me and Mike went to this course called Money Magic where they unlock some beliefs and structures in the way you look at things. But what is this money shadow mastery? Tell me a little bit about that, Doctor.
Sure. And you know, what you're talking about with money shadow and with the rest of what we've been discussing today is the importance of what I call blind spotting our blind spots and then filling them in. So looking for those challenges, because this mindset is everything except when it's not.
Yeah.
Beliefs that and blind spots that need to get filled. So money shadow is having to do with the blind spots that we have around money. We have faulty definitions of money, but more than that, there are 4 areas of blind spots in money shadow that I think are really important for our listeners to understand. The first is what I call reverse sourcing. And reverse sourcing is where we are operating from the delusion that money creates wealth. It's the exact opposite. Wealth creates money. And if we don't know what our multidimensional wealths are, we don't have a way of defining or deciding which of those multidimensional wealths of ours are best suited to converting into money. Entitlement scripts are another blind spot in money shadow, and that's those entitlement scripts around money basically say my fill in the blank, and I'll give you examples of that in a moment, but my fill in the blank should be enough to get me money. So my good intentions, my character, my skills, my talents, by themselves should be enough to get me money. And what makes that an entitlement script is because if we are using those brilliances in us, those wealths in us as an excuse to get us off the hook in learning how to market, in learning how to sell, in learning how to be doing fulfillment of orders or requests and serving our clients and our customers, then we aren't going to make money. So that's about entitlement scripts. And then money risks is another blind spot or money shadow piece, which is where we are not aware that creating financial well-being for us has its downsides. They can all be dealt with, but there are risks that that are involved in making money, like others who are close to us who don't have money, might start sucking on us or trying to suck on us. Or we may have to learn how to manage our money more effectively than we ever learned how to do before. And these risks, if we don't address them, they cause our money thermostat, the amount of money that we're internally allowed to make, to be set lower than our goals require it to be. And then the fourth is reciprocity blocking. And what this means is a lot of, in fact, in my experience, the majority, and I consider myself to be one of these folks, socially responsible entrepreneurs, are compulsive givers and reluctant receivers. And when we're compulsive givers and reluctant receivers, we put out a lot, but in ways, because we're reluctant to receive, we block the law of reciprocity from happening, and we teach people to take advantage of us and expect us to give our wealth for free. And so we end up teaching people entitlement, and we end up being poor.
That's a powerful statement.
Amen.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are floating in that boat. That, you know, because I work with a lot of experts and thought leaders and authorities, and they're all in that boat where they're just so giving, but they have a hard time receiving the reciprocal.
Yeah, I mean, and me and Mike train a lot in mindset and belief structures, and I've been dedicating a lot of my life this last couple of years just really digging into change work. And if you guys notice right now on Facebook and all the social media platforms, I'm literally dropping down note after note after note on this paper because these are unlimiting beliefs that need to be changed in your life. When you look at these blind spots, all of us have it. There's people that are like literally like what you said earlier is that what might you lose that you value if you were to have what you wanted? And sometimes it really is just time with your family that's blocking you, and just working out that work-life balance and finding these little pieces in your life that change just a little bit by recognizing them. So I'm taking notes the whole time, and I am so happy you're on the show today. And I always find out that even when I know a guest is coming, there's something in my life the day before, or the week before. Last night I was receiving texts about belief structures, and today here's the show again, you know, so it's right here in our faces. So for all of our listeners out there, these are mastermind pieces that you're getting, these money shadow mastery and finding these 4 topics. Well,
and I think, you know, what we're talking about overall is this whole sabotage. Like it really, the things that go into effect, like you even just putting it out there, thinking about limited beliefs. I mean, this affects lack of, you know, motivation, procrastination too much. You start finding that you don't have time. You're always saying, I don't have time in the day, but it's really all
that statement right there is causing a belief.
Exactly. And so this self-sabotaging, which is what we're talking about, when even though money has been a big part of it, but this is where the limited beliefs come in, or this fear starts coming in. You know, that some folks call it false evidence appearing real. I call it face everything and rise, right? So to what you're saying, Dr. Gruder, is that these money or the way they think or whatever creates these limited beliefs, and then they feel they don't have resources. All these different excuses start to pop up, or responsibilities that they're avoiding because how they're thinking.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts to deteriorate, whether their profession, their job, their love life, their, whatever, the relationships with the kids, their business, everything starts to come into play because of how they think and subconsciously what they're thinking. And
so for all of our listeners out there, we want you to go to drgruder.com.
Yep.
/power course. And that's Dr. Gruder, GRUDER.com /power course.
Yeah, and I'm going to put it up online for all the folks that are on the live stream. Make sure that they have access to it, and we'll get it in different places.
So, Doctor, in closing, what would you like to say to our audience?
Oh, well, you've said it really well. I mean, fear is face everything and rise. And in order to do that, we have to be having the courage to recognize that if we aren't living the way we want to live, an ego in search of evidence always finds it, and so we'll find all the reasons why we can't succeed. But the more important thing is that it's important that we stop living our lives at the level of our wounds instead of our wishes, and turn that around so that we're living our lives at the level of our wishes. and no longer controlled by those limiting beliefs.
Outstanding. Thank you, Dr. Gruder.
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful show. We'll be back with more after the break. Thank you for being our guest today.
And the Money 105.5 app.
Welcome back, everybody. What a beautiful guest today, Dr. Gruder. That was an amazing segment. Very, very smart man. I mean, my notes were off the chart, just writing things down, just things that I've learned before, and I always say, and this is one of the big topics in Design It, is knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's knowing something and then leveraging it. Mm-hmm. So I like knowing when there's something not sitting right in my mindset and how to change it on a daily basis. I'm always trying to refocus myself and really aim my goals so that my mindset is aligned with my goal. And like he said, having that courage to do it. So many people come to the Design It course thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to learn all this marketing stuff. Guess what? You probably already knew half of it. But then we're going to show you how to leverage it and have the mindset to execute it. So people will come to the course and they'll be like, I can't believe I fell in love with my business again, because we're sitting there placing these mindsets. And what he nailed was the actual reciprocity blocking, where there's these blind spots in your life that you're not looking at them closely enough, which is stopping you from taking the marketing plunge or jumping on social media or developing your sales funnel. And that's why we've been so giving on this show. And we want to thank all of our listeners for what they've been doing and all the applications that have come in, all the AskBrandonNow.com questions that are coming in.
Yeah.
But really, I want to thank Curtis and Michelle, our administration staff for this show, who takes care of all the customers that come in.
They rock.
Because they've been taking in these free tickets that we've been giving out. So for all your listeners that have jumped on and already got your tickets, more power to you. We can't wait to see you February 9th, 10th, and 11th. But we're giving away 2 tickets for each guest. So you plus a guest, whether it's your administration staff, your colleague, a business partner, another business owner, go to designitcourse.com and use the promo DesignIt105 and receive a ticket for you and a guest. Now, if you would like the guest to register alongside you, you can. Otherwise, you can register and then follow up with the email to our admin, who will then add your guest to the list.
Sure.
But just as easy, you could both register and have your own individual tickets.
And this is a $3,000 value. I mean, we sell this workshop and we always reserve at least 10 tickets. And so there's
we
still
reserved 20 this time.
Oh, did we?
I think we've already given out 12 through the show.
Okay. So that I didn't realize that. So we've got more tickets to give, which is a good thing, because you and a guest can come in and take advantage of this. And like I said, this is a course that we typically sell for $3,000. We pre-sell.
Not typically, we do.
Well, we do, but
it's for sale right now. So if you want to skip the promo and pay
you
full
don't want
price,
to. You want to pay full
You're
price.
supporting our show.
Yeah. Don't take the free ticket. Go ahead and support us.
This whole thing. When you look at our tagline for this show, it's marketing, mindset, and mentorship.
Yep.
The Design It course was designed to design your business to gain your life, because we are slipping the mindset in there and helping you build that small foundation and getting some of that woo into the marketing that we give out.
Yeah. You think about it, and you think about what Dr. Gruder was talking about. The subconscious mind's affecting these limited beliefs, right? And so people aren't doing the marketing. Like, it's so easy to create content, but yet there's this limited belief, which then kicks in procrastination or fear or any of these things that keep them from implementing. And that's where at the course, you're actually going to walk away with a plan of action and accountability steps of what you need to do, whether it's a sales funnel, whether it's to create content or position yourself or find out, a lot of times, who's your wow client. A lot of people are just kind of scattering and just everybody, anybody that breathes.
I heard this thing that said marketing's for everyone, and I completely disagree.
Yeah.
Marketing is for someone.
Right.
And you need to know who that is. Who is that listener that bonds with your base? Whether you're a yogurt shop, a coach, an author, who's that person that is there? Like he said in the show today, leading the ones that like what you do towards you, and the ones that shouldn't be there go away. So when I teach marketing pieces, I tell you to find that wow client, go directly for them. Yes, the marketing is going to span out and grab some other people, and you can actually have that moment where you say, hey, this isn't a good fit for you, or thanks for stopping in. If you feel free to come back, you can. But marketing is not for everyone. It's for someone.
Yeah, so take advantage. Again, that's the designitcourse.com. Design It 105 is your promo code. And we're in Roseville next week, February 9th, 10th, and 11th. Come and spend 3 days with us as we unravel the mindset and the self-sabotaging into developing marketing systems and showing you ways to really find that client and
to design your business to gain your life.
Yeah, exactly. Start working on your business and get out of working in your business.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do for you. Hey, so what did you get out of today's show? I mean, what was the biggest thing you're walking away with?
The money thermostat. And I've always known this to be true. So there's so many family entanglements that are passed down where I will internally, your mind is saying, I will never make more money than my father because that would be disrespectful. Or that old, the cliche, like, you need to go get a W-2 job and work your butt off and work for the higher end desk jockey your whole life and then retire with all this retirement. And then all of us entrepreneurs are going, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Well, shifting yourself from that old belief into a new one is huge. So leveling your money thermostat to realize that, like you said, this money script, this entitlement script that my creativeness should be enough to make me money.
Yeah.
Well, that's just not the only thing. Yes, people are very creative, make a lot of money, but they've also opened up some energy blocks. I call them abundance blocks. They've removed these abundance blocks, allowing them to have more. So that really leveraged that for me.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing I got from it was how all this, it really puts those limiting beliefs. But what I got from it was like what you said, you have been searching for faults, and then you're working on fixing it. And I think overall, I think that's the biggest thing is start being aware. Start being aware of what's going on in your surroundings, in your mind, that's preventing you from having the type of success that you want. Start taking note to it, write it down, and then try to figure out what's the root, like what's causing this, and start fixing it. And I think that's what I got the most out of this is to really identify why this limiting belief's coming up and how I can take it and find the fault and start working on it, which is the critical part.
So if everyone right now on this show, every one of you are successful in what you do, whether it's working for someone, running your own business, running multiple businesses. But are you running at 100%?
Yeah.
If you were running at 80% and you're successful, what happens if you just added a few more things to the plate, a few more choices in your life that allowed you to have enough money for that 1 month off?
Mm-hmm.
Forever, I strive to have the month of November off, be able to just relax during that month.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, after about 4 years of designing and really focusing on the courses, I was able to take 2 weeks off in August and 3 weeks off in November. Because I don't even know if I'm at 100%, but I know I increased by 10% by taking things that we teach and actually implementing them into my blind spots and making them work for me.
I mean, think about it. What if you just increased 1% every day for a whole year?
Yeah.
You're going to be a completely different person.
365% different.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the growth, but not even that. You think about the compounding effect that happens with that, right? We say 365%, but there's a compounding effect which takes it up to 30,000.
Mine even takes it a little further. What if you increased 1% a day, but everyone that you touched increased 1% as well?
Oh, yeah.
Just from you being a little bit different and a little bit more of that energy level matched.
Yeah.
How much change could you have in the world?
How much impact? You know, I've always heard the saying is, "Oh, I'm only one person," but it only you can't as a one person you affect one other person. That person affects somebody, and that affects. So technically, you've affected 10 or 20. So what if you were doing that? And I like what you said, help 1% a day, helping others, and contributing to their life to where they can have positive. I mean, you could impact. Look at social media. Look how Mark Zuckerberg impacted millions because of the gal that impacted him.
So that's a limiting belief. I'm only one person.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Think about that. I'm only one person. They have that whole saying, what's it, 7 degrees of separation?
Yeah.
Where you can get to anywhere you want within 7 moves. 7 contacts, 7 phone calls, whatever it takes. 6 calls a day to make $1 million. There's all kinds of things you can do, but one of the core reasons why we build our whole entire foundation around helping as many people as possible and why the designitcourse.com was actually launched was because we want to help as many people have what they want in their life. And when we say design your business, gain your life, we could have easily said design your business, start making millions. But that's not what the real core is that if you make more money, you'll have more life, right? Because we all don't just get up in the morning just to be successful at work. We get up in the morning to be successful in life and to have the things that we want in life. So take advantage of it and go to designitcourse.com and use our promo code DESIGNIT105 and join us February 9th, 10th, and 11th, where we'll share with you all the proven systems that we've had to design our business to gain our lives.
Yeah, so thank you for being and listening to us today on Money Talk 105.5 and Mike Driggers, Brandon Heights at In the Now. So be in the now. Start recognizing your limited beliefs and take them out, improve them 1% a day.
Open up those blind spots.
Open those blind spots and watch your success rise.
Money 105. Have you ever heard the statement, mindset is everything? I believe this statement to be true.